Hey Brennan, this is Coach Tim. How you doing, buddy? Listen, I know it's been a long time, seems like forever since our camp in Louisville over at Kentucky Country Day. Boy, it was hot. Wouldn't mind having a little bit of that back though, right? Listen, hope things are going well for you now that you're back in school. Let's take a look at, let's go back to the school thing, by the way. First quarter's over. Hope you made the honor roll. Really, we need smart baseball players, right? So make sure you're hitting the books as hard as you hit the baseball. And speaking of that, I think you hit the baseball pretty hard based upon what I see here. Let's take a look at your swing together. All right. And again. Now I'm going to spend a lot more time in this conversation. I guess it's not a conversation, it's just me talking, but describing the things that you do well, because this is a good swing. And I'm not just saying that. I haven't said that but a handful of times, and I've done nearly 500 of these analyses from the summer, and there is no reason why you shouldn't be a really good hitter right now. And if you're not, then I would suggest that maybe the problem is somewhere in there, right? Where we need to maybe examine what's going on in there. Are you stepping into the batter's box with the kind of confidence? Are you swinging at the right pitches? Because mechanically, you're very sound. Let's get to that all-important heel down position. Remember we had that Jay Bruce poster, right? And the first place in the swing where we really start keeping score, so to speak, is that heel down. Now, I would like to see you take this foot and point it straight across. Now, it may be the camera angle, but I don't think so. Don't allow that back foot to angle back at all toward the catcher, okay? It's all right if this front one does, although I don't want to see any more than this. And I'd rather that came down straight or maybe a little bit of an angle, but don't let it get any more than that, because what happens is that knee opens up, that hip starts to open up, the shoulder will fly open, and then there's certain pitches that you're going to have trouble hitting, namely pitches that are away. And anybody who steps away or opens up that front side is vulnerable, and opposing coaches will pick up on that as you get into high school and as you play more and more and more high-level select baseball. Okay? All right, so I also want to see that, remember we talked about referring back to the Jay Bruce, but listen, it wouldn't have to be Jay Bruce. It could be Joey Votto, it could be Brandon Phillips, it could be any of our guys. Actually, it could be any major leaguer, because at heel down they are in a remarkably similar position. Your your knees are between your feet. That's good. That waist is parallel to the ground the way it should be. Now, we talked about if there's a light shining out of the knob of that bat, where would it go? It would go somewhere down toward the catcher's feet. That would put the barrel of the bat up over your head or thereabouts. All right, that's ideally where we like to see it, so that we can take the most direct, efficient path to the ball. But that being said, you'll see a lot of guys who are in exactly the position you are. You have created some separation here. You have what we call a scapular pinch. Now that's that shoulder blade. You've created some tension in there, which is good. It's exactly where we want to be before we launch. Don't let this arm get any further back. I think you're in a good position now, but don't let it get any further back. We call that barring out. And once that arm straightens out, it has a tendency to stay straight, and that creates a long, slower, looping swing. And very difficult to get that part of the bat, which is what we're trying to do, there on time, because controlling the bat head is everything. Getting the bat to the right spot at the right time. You can swing the bat 100 miles an hour, but if you don't get the bat and that part of the bat to the ball on time, then that's a swing and a miss or a miss hit. All right, so we want to control. So we want to eliminate anything in our swing that keeps us from either generating power at the point of contact or from getting to the hitting plane or the hitting highway quickly and staying on that hitting highway for as long as we can. So that's why we spend so much time on this setup. Your hand should be back at about your elbow. This angle's hard to see, but I'm going to guess that it's pretty doggone close to that. Okay? I just don't want you to get any further back. Eyes are where they belong. And now, as you begin the swing, your back elbow slides under just a little bit. I'm going to say that's okay for now, but don't let it get any more, because what happens when the back elbow leads, that bat will drop too rapidly, and there's a strong tendency then to hit under the ball, pop up, hit off the top of the ball, which causes a kind of a top spin 9-hopper to shortstop. So don't let that eat anymore. In fact, there was one of the other posters we had up there was Scott Rowland, and that was at connection. And at connection, the hands, that back elbow we were just talking about, and the red stripe down those good-looking Cincinnati Reds pants all line up. We call that connection. And at that point, typically the bat is coming by your shoulder more at this angle. Okay? So I'm going to go back and give you another visual. Again, I think you are within the realm of what is acceptable for a good hitter. I'm going to point out, though, that things that could change or that you're on the corner of to be wary of. Just as we talked about that light shining down on the catcher's feet coming out of the knob of that bat, all right? Then, two, once we begin the swing and our hands start to come forward, the shoulders bring the arms, bring the hands, then we want to shine that light on the ball. I don't know why my arrow ends up going backwards there, I'm not sure. But we want to take a path to the ball, at least begin a path to the ball with those hands. It's very direct. Okay, so shining the light on the catcher's feet, and then we shine the light on the ball. Now, obviously, we're not going to hit the ball with the knob of the bat. We're not going to do that. That's not what I'm saying. But that's how we're going to begin. And when you do that, when you use that little trigger, then that elbow at that point will not slide underneath. All right? And that bat will come within a few inches of your back shoulder, which is where it should. And you'll take a very, very direct path to the ball. That's what makes Joey Votto so amazing. He gets the ball so quickly, and then he stays on the hitting path so long that he can be wrong in terms of what pitch he was expecting and still smack it into left field for a base hit because he's still on that hitting highway. Okay. So then we get to contact, and we are palm up, palm down at contact. We've got this bend in our back leg, which is good. We're hitting against a firm front side. Eyes are where they belong. Waist is parallel. This is a good setup. All right. Now, Brennan, I'm going to be real picky on something else here that again, may or may not make sense. And that is, let's pretend that blue line I just drew there is a wall. Say you're in your basement and you've got the outside part of your foot is up against that wall. Okay. Now, because of the camera angle here, I had to draw the wall through your foot, but I think you get the idea. If you pinch this knee, which is the first move I want you to make with your lower half, and then you rotate that hip. All right, you pinch that knee and rotate that hip. It happens almost simultaneously. You will be able to rotate up on the toe of that back foot so that the laces are facing the pitcher, heel is in the air, and believe it or not, your back heel will not smack in to that blue line or your basement wall. Instead, see what happens there? If this were home, you'd be off to Home Depot with some of that drywall patch because you just smacked through the wall. And all that tells me is that you're not transferring quite as much weight as I like to see going here, which is what we're trying to do, generate as much power we can at contact, that you're holding back a little bit on your back side here. Okay? You'll notice that, in fact, what I'd like for you to do is go look at some YouTube video. Find a couple of guys that you like and take a look at their swings, and in particular, watch what happens to that back leg as they come through the swing into contact. I think you'll see that some of them will actually pick their back foot up off the ground. They're driving into that front side so aggressively. And if they don't pick it off the ground, at least they can finish up on the toe. And I think you'll be amazed at how they actually move forward a little bit with that back foot. Now they don't end up out here. That's not what I'm saying. Their center of gravity is right where it belongs. Okay, but that's just a little extra transfer of weight toward the center, which makes their swing more powerful. And that's a way for you to add power to what is already a good swing without eating a single Brussels sprout or lifting a weight or growing an inch. Okay? Although you should be eating Brussels sprouts, and I know that you're growing. And yeah, I like your swing enough, but I want you to keep in mind, see how your knee is turning? That's because your foot is turning your knee. The foot does not turn the leg. The knee pinches, the hip turns, and that's what turns the foot. That's a very difficult concept. I'm not going to lie to you. But if you want to just get a feel for this, go downstairs or wherever and put that back leg up against the wall. You might want to try this a couple of times without a bat so you get the hang of it. And you'll find if you pinch this, that is, if you take that inside part of the knee and pinch it toward the front as your first move on the lower half, and then you rotate and do everything else that you're doing with your upper body, that you will not hit the wall, and that you won't be way out front, that you will actually stay in balance, and eventually it'll feel pretty good. And you'll be adding some additional bat speed to your swing in doing so. Okay? Okay? Now all we have finished here is our finished post-contact extension. And part of the reason why you don't have extension right here, because these arms should be out here, okay, is because of this guy right here. Because you just didn't quite release there. Didn't drive forward quite enough, so you're not going to get quite the extension. And that's going to keep you from staying on that hitting highway as long as you should. We may be only talking about 3, 4, 5, 6 inches, but that can be the difference, believe me. And then you finish at about your shoulders, and then run like heck to first base. All right, Brennan? Now, I was really picky there because I'm not talking to you like like a 10, 11, or 12-year-old. I'm talking to you like a young man who can be an outstanding high school baseball player, a collegiate player, even talking to you like I would a major leaguer, because the body works the same. And you've got a great swing. All right, so please don't take anything that I've said here as anything other than just a heads up that you don't have to change a thing. But keep in mind, as you grow older, you need to be the smart guy about your swing. You need to be your own teacher. So hang on to this video. I hope you do. And refer to it over the winter time. And take a couple of chances. Work on that basement swing. Chase get the bat head in a slightly different position. See how comfortable that feels. Get that back foot straightened out the way it should be, okay? So that when you step into the batter's box in the spring, it'll all be second nature to you. And all you have to do is worry about smacking the ball. Okay, Brennan? Again, until next year, this is Coach Tim. Now I got to get the right tool there. Saying don't forget, as I mentioned before, to hit the books as hard as you hit the baseball. Consider this a formal invitation for you to come to Reds Camp next year. We haven't got it set quite yet down in Louisville, but we will. And the Reds would really like to participate in your baseball development. You could be a terrific young ball player, and we'd like to be there for you. So I hope you give us a chance. Okay? So until next year, go Reds, and so long, Brennan.